everyone. I'm Heather Kirk Ballard, and I'm here today with.
Kirk Pomper.
All right, and where are you from?
So I'm originally from Minnesota, but I'm at Kentucky State University and a professor there.
Excellent. It's great bourbon in Kentucky.
Yes, yes.
I don't know anything about that, y'all. Okay, anyhow, so we're here to celebrate him as a Hort legend, and we've got some questions because we want to learn more about you. First of all, what is your horticultural specialization, and what are the primary positions you have held?
So I'm a fruit horticulturist. I actually got my undergraduate degrees in horticulture at University of Minnesota, went to Oregon State, and I was at a USDA postdoc in Houston for a little while, but then I went to Kentucky State University, and I've been a professor of horticulture now for 27 years.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I had administrative duties. I've been a chair and also a dean of the College of Agriculture,
Very cool.
which I did recently step down from. But I've been working with Pawpaw all that time.
Okay, excellent. What has horticulture meant to your life and career?
Well, it's really meant a lot to me. And growing up, I was very interested in how things grew. And growing up in Minnesota, I think we always looked forward to the spring.
Mhm.
And I would go through all the nursery catalogs and think about things I wanted to plant.
Excited.
And then I overplanted my parents' lawn, with trees, and I overplanted the garden, even as in grade school. So I was very interested in plants from early on, and then became really interested in horticulture and want to pursue that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you consider to be the most rewarding part of your career in horticulture?
Well, I do think it's been the time I've spent at Kentucky State University mainly, and that's been working with small farmers. And a lot of folks in Appalachia, they're growing. I want to grow high value crops, horticultural crops, and even a few $1,000s means a lot to some of the folks who need the money. And so, working with those various folks, we've done a lot of workshops. I work mainly with fruit crops, but mainly with pawpaw, which
Okay.
is a new crop to a lot of folks anyway.
Yeah.
And I've done a little work with American persimmon and blackbirds too, but mainly pawpaw. And so it's a really great crop with a lot of potential and really great for growing in Appalachia. And so it's been very rewarding working with the folks who are interested in that crop and other horticultural crops. And also worked a lot with students, and that's been very rewarding to undergraduate and graduate students through the years.
Right, that is. How long have you been a member of ASHS, and how has the society influenced your career?
Well, ASHS has had a huge impact on my professional life and personal life. I actually joined ASHS in 1984. I had to go back and look. I remembered my first ASHS meeting as an undergraduate was
So nervous, right?
yes, yeah, and it was at Blacksburg, Virginia.
Yeah.
And it was 1985, and so I went there, and I was just fascinated by all the presentations and the crops, and so it's meant a lot to me because, especially also being at a smaller school, seeing what other people are doing in various areas, similar areas, it's really meant a lot. And so I've tried to go to as many ASHS meetings as I possibly can through the years, through those 40 years of being a member. And I think that it also has allowed me to connect with folks. I've had a lot of research relationships with other members, and also we've co-published. And so it's just been a really great vehicle for me to be able to learn more about horticulture and go and also go to the meetings to see other areas of the country and see how people are growing things. And that's been very valuable too.
Yeah. All right. What advice can you offer to students or young professionals in horticulture?
Well, yeah, and with my students too, I'll tell them to learn as much as they can from their fellow students, and there's no better time to do that than ASHS meeting too.
Yeah.
And so learn as much as you can. You never know what you're going to end up doing, and I think right now the students need to kind of cross train. They may have a master's in a vegetable crop, but they may end up working in an ornamental crop.
Exactly.
And so ASHS is a good chance for folks to go and experience that. but they should learn whatever their fellow graduate students are doing. They should know those projects like their own almost,
Yeah,
because that may come in very handy. And I'm really happy with the local foods movement that we've seen
yeah,
in across the nation, and in all the farmers markets growth. And of course, that kind of leads me back into the working with the small farmers. And I think that students do need to kind of think about that. I believe in applied research. We need to do basic research,
yes,
but
absolutely.
we do need to apply research that's going to have an economic benefit. And as a land grant and research teaching and extension, that is really part of our mission, is to go out and make sure that we're doing things for the folks in our areas. And so I think that's really critical. So for me, I really greatly valued the experience of horticulture, and then what I've learned at the meetings and going out to the others.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
And I think all my students should do
yeah,
that.
exactly. All right, last question.
Mhm.
What excites you most about the future of the horticultural industry and profession?
Well, there's a lot going on right now, and you look at AI, machine learning. I know that there's a lot of things that we're going to be able to take advantage of with
Yeah,
those, whether it be marketing tools or understanding genetic relationships. There's a lot of opportunity there. But I do think it's also very important that we continue this movement of local foods and diversifying local foods.
absolutely.
And so I think that, for me, it's been very rewarding to do pawpaw breeding. We
Hmm.
bred 3 different varieties, and we're gonna have some more that we've released. And knowing that we're gonna contribute to, the fruit quality to those farmer markets, that folks will have a good experience with a new crop, it's been really important. So I think that it's a very exciting time in horticulture, but we do need to balance the basic research with the applied research, and
Agreed.
make sure that we're also giving opportunities for our students to really learn what all the opportunities are for those types of projects. So I'm excited about horticulture, and I think that, being in the organization, the ASHS, for 40 years, you do see areas that come and go a little bit,
Yeah,
but I do think that right now we're in a really interesting time of technological development, but also commitment to local farming, and I think it's an exciting.
yeah. Well, it has been a pleasure to have you and to get to know you. That's been one of the perks of me doing these interviews is I get to meet everyone. So it's wonderful. And now we can share with everyone um, what you're doing and how ASHS has impacted your career in life. So,
Well,
thank
thank you for
you.
the chance. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.